Hello everyone and welcome back to another Fam 2 Cents cooking video, and today we are making meatball subs. I have never made them before. I had some sausage in my fridge that I had no idea what to do with, so I got a couple suggestions and this is what we came up with. So as you guys can see here, the ingredients that I chose were not super complicated. We got the French baguettes, mushrooms, pepper jack cheese cubed, I'll let you know what I got that for later, Italian seasoned breadcrumbs, onions of course, sweet sausage this time around instead of spicy, garlic salt, Italian herbs, and Italian style cheese. This was the cheese that I chose that has 6 different cheeses in it. It's a kind of a mix. I like it because I don't like picking between which one I want to use, so why not all of them, or 6 of them at least. How many Italian cheeses are there? I have no idea. First order of business is to chop up the vegetables. We're going to go ahead and take or handle the onion first. You guys know the drill. There's a particular way that I like to cut my onions. It is highly recommended to do it this way because it makes cubing it a lot easier. And as I said before, the less time you spend cutting onions, the less time you spend crying about it. And I don't like tearing up while cutting onions, so this is the most efficient way to do it for me. So this is the way that I choose to do it. So next up comes the mushrooms. We're going to cut this from the top of the cap down. The way that I usually end up cutting it, if the stem is too long, I always cut the stem off. That helps out. The only difference here is we're actually going to cut them in half once we get done slicing them down, just to kind of spread the distribution out a little bit, because you don't want them to be too big in your meatball sub, because this isn't a mushroom sub. It's a meatball sub that has mushrooms in the sauce. So chop them down a little bit finer, or at least in half, so that way you're not dealing with these huge mushrooms in your sandwich. I mean, unless you want it that way, it's up to you. But this is just the way that I did it. Next, we're gonna prep the meat for the meatballs. As you can see, I have the Italian breadcrumbs, the garlic salt. I actually decided to add cayenne pepper and regular pepper this time around because I did buy sweet sausage, and halfway through I was just like, do I really want sweet meatballs or whatever in there? I don't know how sweet it is, but I wanted to spice it up just a little bit. So you go ahead and add the seasonings plus the 1 egg that I added. You should only need 1 egg. Depending on how much meat you're using. As you saw, I was only using 1 pack of the sausage or whatever, just kind of a small to medium sized pack of sausage, so it wasn't really a lot. It's about 1 pound maybe, so you should only need 1 egg. But go ahead and give it a good mix with a spoon first, so your hands, like it'll make it a little less sticky if you kind of mix it up a bit with a spoon first and then go in there with your hands. It's up to you kind of how you want to do that. If you're fine with your hands getting all kind of gunky, that's up to you, but I don't really like it that much. Maybe I should get some gloves or something. But yeah, after you mix that up, you should be good to go. One thing I found out too is everybody has kind of ratios on how many breadcrumbs and versus eggs and everything that they use for their meatballs. You can kind of make them however you decide to make them, or however you usually make them. I don't have a specific measurement, once again, like I told you before, because I usually don't measure. I just do it by eye and feel. But you know, whatever consistency you like for your meatballs is probably going to be fine for the subs that you're gonna make. So just kind of do your thing. So the onions in the meat, that's going to make the meatballs, is completely optional. It's up to you whether you guys want to do it. It worked out well with the Swedish meatballs. I thought it was a good combination, and it turned out well. So I'll leave this part up to you, but that's what I did here. If you want to follow the recipe exactly, then go ahead and toss some onions in there. Now after you've mixed the meatball mixture to your liking, we're going to get to the part where we start to roll our meatballs, and this is where the pepper jack cheese comes in. As you can see, I have the meat right here. I'm going to go ahead and place the cube inside of the meatball and roll it together, so that way you'll have a nice little cheesy surprise on the inside once they're done, which is a really nice touch to the meatball sub overall, or just meatballs in general. Once again, as I said, if you're not a you're not big on cheese, it's not something that you think you want to do or you think you would like, or if you want to use a different kind of cheese, that's completely up to you. I'm just showing you how I did it. So you roll it out about the size of a golf ball, pat it out to about the size you would a sausage patty if you were making like breakfast sausage. Take the cube, place it in the middle, and then just kind of fold it around it and roll it. I don't know if this technique that I use is the correct way to do it or not, but this is the way I was taught. It works really well for me. It makes them nice and rounded, and they often don't have any like cracks or anything for whatever's on the inside to escape. So like I said, whatever your method is, or you can try mine, completely up to you. Now we've gotten to the point to where it's time to cook the meatballs. So you guys know the usual formula: olive oil and butter into the pan. Once it gets nice and hot, go ahead and toss the meatballs in there. At this point, the way that I usually do it is I brown them on both sides and try to flip them around as many ways as I can to get them as browned as I can, and cooked for the most part. They don't have to be 100% done, but you want to get them nice and browned, and at least looking pretty done on the outside while they're cooking in the pan for now, to get a lot of that flavor down in the bottom of the pan for when you toss the veggies and stuff in there. And then they'll finish cooking in the sauce once you re-add them after the veggies and stuff are done. Alright, and as I said, go ahead and take the meatballs out once they've browned to your liking. Add the onions first, because we always add onions first. We want to give those a chance to really cook down, soften up, and start to sweat out. Soak up all of that flavor from the meatballs in there, and then you go ahead and add the mushrooms soon after. And you get that all cooking. Make sure once again that the mushrooms are well coated with the olive oil and butter mixture, and obviously you want to let that simmer and cook until you're satisfied. The mushroom should be browning up, and so should the onions, before you go ahead and add the pasta sauce towards the end there. As a side note, I decided to use pre-made pasta sauce this time around instead of making my own, or using just like tomato sauce and seasoning and everything. It just makes things a little bit easier for you, take away a couple steps. It's up to you whether or not you want to decide to do that, but I just figured I'd let you guys know. I went on ahead and tossed the meatballs inside of the sauce that's been cooking for about 10 minutes, and the meatballs are going to finish cooking inside of the sauce for about the next 10 or 15 minutes, and give the sauce just a little bit of time to reduce down, so all those flavors can really get to know each other. And at that point, you're pretty much done with the prep for the meatballs. At this point, you want to go ahead and get your French baguettes or whatever bread you decided to use, especially if it is raw and it hasn't been baked thoroughly, and you want to take that, toss that in the oven, and give it a nice little bake for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. Read the instructions, they'll let you know what to do. You want to get those nice and brown, but not burnt, obviously. And once those are done, you can start assembling your sandwich. So I'm pretty sure you know what to do from this point, but obviously you want to open up the baguettes and get them ready to be filled with the meatballs and the sauce and everything. I had planned on making like a garlic butter and spreading it over there, but the utensil that I used for that I left at the other house, so I didn't have it. And I didn't just want to pour it on there because I didn't want it to be like soggy or anything. So unfortunately I didn't get to do that, but you can feel free as long as you have the tool. And just go ahead and fill your subs. You know how much sauce you like and everything like that. There's going to be a lot left over, so if you just want to add the meatballs themselves without any extra added sauce, that's up to you. If you like a lot of sauce on there like I do, you can do that also. This is where the Italian cheese comes in too, and you go ahead and spread that. Use however much you want. I didn't have a specific measurement for this, but if you like cheese as much as I do, you'll use a fuck ton. That's usually the metric that I go by. And then you're going to toss these back into the oven, and once they come out, you will be met with this. Now, one thing I want to reiterate is I have never made these before. This is my first time. Every time I make this stuff, these things that I try from other places that I think I like, I make it myself, and I'm just like, oh god, I had no idea just how good this could be. Not to really brag or anything. I'm just saying, like, homemade it's turning out to be much better all the time. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, enjoy the food porn shots here towards the end, and leave your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys on the next one.